Every single boss in Fortnite, in order to acquire their mythic, requires a different approach. No two bosses are the same, and nor is no two ways that you fight them. There is a few overlaps, but in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a complete rundown on how to verse those bosses, how to win those fights, and how to acquire those mythics. Hi, what is going on YouTube? My name is Onyi, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. So we're going to be running all of these games currently today in Battle Lab, so I don't get third-party hard by people, and so I can give you a clear and concise tutorial. Typically, if I try to take Slone, I try to land at the gas station. There is a fair amount of loot spawns here, and as long as you get a thermal or an org, you're pretty much covered. Now, personally, I prefer using the thermal in order to fight Slone, but if you have an org and you don't happen to get a thermal, that will do you all right as well. So we're just going to loot up here real quickly at gas station. And if I was playing a live game, this is exactly the same way I would approach it. I'd be running through all this area. Now, whether or not you're playing build mode or non-build mode, it doesn't really make a difference when it comes to the approach that you take when you fight the bosses. And that is because builds aren't really in your favor when you fight bosses. Whenever you try to build around bosses, the bosses will hard push the build. They'll pickaxe the build or they will beam you through it. So that's why builds don't really have a good impact. So typically I like to heal up before pushing in here. Now there's always an IO guard on the outskirts here, and you want to take them out before they take you out. Try to hit headshots. Headshots will do a lot more damage and will cause the fight to work a lot more in your favor. Now when you approach this little hill here, Slone is normally on the outskirts here. So you want to line up the shot and you want to hit headshots. Now note, when she teleports, the one with health above its head is the real bot. So you want to make sure that the other bosses can't see you. Now when you fight Slone, what you like to do is use natural cover. The bosses will not hit you as much if you have natural cover in the way. Note, I just hit another one, but the one with the lowest health I'm pretty sure is Slone. And there we go, Slone's dead. Real nice and simple. A lot of people get mixed up while fighting Slone, but I think the easiest takeaway is whichever boss you hit first will have a health bar above its head. Once you see the health bar above the boss's head, you know that's the real one to fight. If you don't hit that first shot on Slone and Slone sees you first, you won't know which clone you're fighting. So it's very, very important to hit that first shot. For example, here I don't know which one's the real Slone. There is a way to tell, and that's telling which one has the most health, which is this one here, so that's the real one, as these ones' healths will go down faster compared to the real one. That's how you fight Slone, and Slone is located right here at the fortress on the map if you don't have it discovered yet, kind of next to Tilted Towers. Note, Slone's AR has 6 more bullets in it compared to every other org in the game and does more damage. So I hope those tips really help you defeat Slone in game, considered the hardest boss to fight. I am about to show you the other 2 bosses, but if you could please right now leave the video with a like rating and subscribe down below. It's absolutely free to do so and it shows support of the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. Only 10% of people who watch the videos are currently subscribed. Anyway, enough from me, back to the video. The next boss in the game is the same boss we had in the game last season, and that is Gunnar. Now, Gunnar you can kill a lot easier. I think Gunnar's the weakest boss we've ever had in the game. I've always found it very, very easy to kill him. And basically the tactics for fighting Gunnar is no close range. Very similar to how you fight Slone, but because you don't have the health bar issue, you kind of can just hit him from anywhere and it doesn't really matter. Like, he's going to approach you, but he's not going to hit those shots from long range because he has an SMG. So you don't even have to really worry about taking cover with him as long as you're at a distance. Now do note, Gunnar can also spawn over here in the game, but as long as you're up on this top section here, you'll be fine. And typically if I'm fighting Gunnar over here, I'd like to fight him like from this distance. Normally there'll be like an IO guard in between, so I'll take out the IO guard right before fighting him. So I'll start shooting him from about here, and I'll use this rock as cover, or I'll use this as cover. He'll typically beam through these, so if you can find like natural builds, that's also very, very good to fight him with. Another approach that I sometimes fight Gunnar from this side, I'll start fighting him from over here. There's a lot of natural cover there, or I'll start fighting Gunnar from up here, because if you shoot a shot at him and then he goes to shoot you, you can push back a little bit and he won't be able to see you if you're standing here at the back crouched down. Gunnar is the only boss currently in the game that does drop you a key to a vault. So although Gunnar's SMG is not the best SMG in the game, because the combat SMG is now in the game and does more damage for a headshot multiplier, it has a faster rate of fire and more bullets in it, I do think he is worth it standalone for the vault. So if you want to get like a really good loadout and you don't want to like mess around too much, I do recommend killing Gunnar for that. People will try to approach you in the vault. If you have cow catchers, throw them down here. If you're playing build mode, just like play some builds like this as well. Gunnar's probably the easiest boss to fight while using builds. I don't really recommend using builds while fighting any of the other bosses, because they will hit you a lot easier through them. Gunnar is a bit like awkward the way that you fight him. So although I always recommend fighting him at long range, it's not always the best approach. Now if you're playing the build mode of Fortnite, Gunnar is actually very easy to kill if you have builds. His attacks aren't that strong, and it doesn't break your builds properly. And as you can see, his accuracy isn't great. As you make sure that you reload, you've actually got cover. He's not going to hit you in between. And if you make sure before he shoots his whole clip, you move into cover, he typically misses the first few shots. So if you shoot a few shots, get into cover. As you can see here, if I don't get into cover right away, he'll miss his first few, but then he'll hit the next shots after that. Come on, come on. This guy's aim's atrocious. Are you okay? So don't be too concerned about having to fight him at long range compared to the other bosses. The last boss to fight here is Huntmaster Saber, a very similar skin to Keymaster in the game that should be coming out later on in the season. And I have to say, he's the hardest boss to fight. Now, the way you want to approach this is you want to approach from top side of the airship. Now, you can approach this from either side. I prefer the back side because you typically have an IO guard that will be walking around here. And I don't recommend approaching him from this walkway as he will see you. Now, Huntmaster, every time I fought him, which is a fair few times, has always been at the bottom layer. Sometimes he walks up these stairs, but most of the time the bottom layer. Now, if you crouch approach him, he's less likely to see you, and I typically always find him here. Now, these little guards here make it a lot harder for him to hit you. So, if you can shoot him through these little gaps, like that's going to help you a lot. And for some reason, he just can't handle it. Now, he does teleport to you, and this is what makes it hard, because not only does he have a good long range shot, he has a really good close range attack, which he will try and hit you with. And I'm going to demonstrate what that is real quick. I'm going to go right next to him just so you can see. It's very similar to Wolverine's attack, and it does a fair bit of damage. Now, if he does get close range to you, sprint away and keep changing directions and hide behind builds like this. This will make it harder for him to hit you. And then once he teleports, every single time you want to sprint, because he's going to teleport into your face so we can do that attack. So once you run away, you want to kind of hit those long range attacks like I said before. This boss will probably do the most amount of damage to you compared to every other boss. And every time you hear him teleport, you want to move out of the way so we can't see you. Typically, while fighting this boss, I do find I have to heal a relative amount. And there you go. Take note here, when I fight Huntmaster Saber this time around, I'm going to be using builds. Now, when I place builds down like this, look at the way that he'll shoot me through them. And he will hard key me through the builds. The builds actually make you a bit more of a target to the bosses for some reason. I've never understood this fully, but knowing that builds don't protect you the same way as they do when you fight real players, because the bosses will actually just key you through them, is something to take note of. He is using a thermal AR, so keep that in note also, and see how he tries to pickaxe through them. That's how you kill every single boss in the game. So I hope those tips helped you out. A lot of people build too much while fighting bosses, and the actual technique of fighting bosses is not building at all. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you guys did enjoy it, I'd really appreciate if you could leave it with a like rating and subscribe down below. Less than 10% of people who watch these videos are subscribed, and if you could help me get to 1,000 subs, I'd greatly appreciate it. New video on mastering movement in Fortnite coming soon, including sprinting, mantling, sliding, and also vaulted items and items like shockwaves. So make sure you stay tuned to that, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Goodbye.